Coming up on today's Wolfpack News, see how Loyola students are reacting to the recent violence against the Asian community and what they are doing to spread awareness here on campus.
And why some New Orleans popular bars decided to close their doors on one of their busiest holidays of the year.
And how Loyola was able to bring back a campus favorite despite COVID challenges.
All this and more on this week's Wolfpack News. Hello and welcome back. I'm Malik Jamila.
And I'm Jillian Odo. Members of Loyola's Asian student community are educating their peers about how to speak out against hate directed at Asian Americans. Last week, 8 people were killed in Atlanta. 6 of the victims were Asian women and worked in massage and spa parlors throughout the city. Police arrested 21-year-old Robert Aaron Long and charged him with 8 counts of murder and 1 count of aggravated assault.
Last week's shooting is the latest in a string of hate crimes targeting the Asian community since the start of the pandemic. People held marches, vigils, and protests from New York to California to show support for the 6 victims and to stop hate crimes against the Asian community.
And Loyola students are also doing their part to speak out against the violence. PAC reporter Jaime Jimenez explains how they are showing their support.
No denial that race and gender are factors in this tragedy.
Cynthia Choi, co-founder of Stop AAPI Hate and co-executive director of Chinese for Affirmative Action, describes now as a
period of awakening for America that's been our lived experience.
AAPI stands for Asian American and Pacific Islander. According to the Stop AAPI Hate National Report, over 3,500 incidents were received between March 19, 2020 and February 28, 2021. 503 reports were made in 2021. This report only represents a fraction of hate crimes committed, but does reveal the vulnerability of Asian Americans to discrimination and the types they face. When considering how to become more involved with the situation, Sean Nguyen, president of the Loyola Asian Student Association, says that one way is to,
I think first is checking up on your friends and family who are AAPI, and then asking what you can do to help them process these emotions individually. Just educating yourself and learning about this deep-rooted history, and then trying to bring awareness to your friends who aren't AAPI, so that they can understand the situation better now.
Keely Johnson, Delta Gamma Sorority's e-com chair, turned to social media as an outlet for helping her process feelings about the incident and overall discrimination against AAPI.
I think it's a good thing that the media is talking about it. I think it's something that needs to be talked about. I definitely think I got a little emotional.
After watching an Instagram TV video by Broadway star and Emily in Paris actress Ashley Park, Johnson found a piece of herself in her.
And I remember I was just laying in bed watching this and I was bawling my eyes out and I was like, she's literally saying everything I wish I could say to people, but I've kept it in for so long.
Johnson started on a Google Doc as a platform to write her thoughts, unsure if it would go public.
I was like, I might want to post this, but maybe I don't, just because I'm scared of like the reaction I'm gonna get.
She eventually posted on Facebook and Instagram, and within hours,
I had people pouring into my DMs being like, can I share this? This is super helpful, or I didn't know you were experiencing these things, and I wouldn't have known if you wouldn't have said something.
Johnson's post received over 1,300 views, near 500 likes, and over 20 shares. Johnson says that when individuals see these types of posts, they should
read as many infographics as you see. When you see them reposted on people's story, don't just click through it. Actually tap on the infographic and swipe through. Read the caption, read everything.
This is Jaime Jimenez with PAC News.
If you would like to report any act of discrimination, you can file a behavior intervention report on Loyola's website. New Orleans canceled St. Patrick's Day parades because of the pandemic, but floats weren't the only thing missing. Packwork News reporter Brialana Lassier explains why 3 popular bars closed their doors for the day.
On Wednesday, the city turned green as people hit the streets to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And while some places stayed open for business, 3 popular Irish bars decided to close their doors to help prevent a super spreader event.
We just felt that there's just no way to control it.
Chuck Watney is a crawfish vendor and a partner with Tracy's Bar in the Irish Channel. He said that closing the bars were necessary because
with St. Patrick's Day, it's a lot of drunk people, and it's a lot of people that want to just come and hang out. They like to bring their own ice chest, they like to hang out on the street, and it just creates these large gatherings that we just can't control.
Both Finn McGool's and Tracy announced on Facebook that they were closing their doors for the holiday, and that by doing so, it was one step closer to getting back to the good old days. All 3 bars came to the decision on their own without consulting City Hall in hopes to protect the public. Even though the popular bars were closed for St. Patrick's Day, Watney says that he's going to spend the rest of his day
put off going to have a Guinness and a Jameson, and that's coming in about an hour, I think.
I'm Brialana Lassier, Pack News.
All 3 bars have returned to normal operations but have hired additional security to continue to enforce COVID-19 violations.
New Orleans also celebrates St. Joseph's Day in a unique way. I got a chance to get an up-close look at how one church in the Irish Channel is once again welcoming people back. A holy tradition returned to St. Mary's Assumption Church this past Friday, Mass, a ceremony that some say is needed here in the House of Silos.
Because the people make the church, and while it is a magnificent building, and our ancestors did a wonderful job of creating this wonderful space, it's the people of the parish. And if you've lived in this parish for any length of time, and many have and moved on in their lives, they always have this connection, and they always come back.
While the people make up the church, their ceremonies make up the other half. The blessing of St. Joseph's altar this weekend came as a call for healing, which the church says it's known for. Guests were also able to view the shrine of the Blessed One, Francis Xavier Silos, a site that is said to attract many. It's where prayers are made and miracles are awaited.
Be able to come back and assemble with familiar faces and to reconnect to that neighborhood that everybody is so connected to is really a wonderful thing.
I hear Good Friday is coming up as well, so that's pretty exciting.
Coming up, see why Loyola theater and dance professor gets dozens of visitors outside her gate each week.
Project on an invasive species in the Bayou St. John, see how Loyola students are trying to contain this new creature.
Back to you, Lester.
Thanks, Taylor. And in our final story of the night, Maroon has been ranked as one of the top student newspapers in the nation by the Princeton Review.
are getting a first-hand look at research into an invasive species of eels in Bayou St. John.
PAC News reporter Liam Kidd shows us why these Loyola scientists are not afraid to get their hands a little dirty.
Out in Bayou St. John, Loyola environmental science majors are trying to find and study an invasive species of eels that were discovered in New Orleans waters in 2019.
This eel has been found in the United States before, but this is the first time that they've been discovered with both young of year juveniles and adults, indicating that they've been reproducing here.
Tori Rodriguez has been working on this project for 2 years, and she says that their research is important for maintaining this fragile ecosystem.
We're just trying to make sure that they don't get out into the Louisiana wetlands, out into Lake Pontchartrain, City Park, making sure they stay.
Like many bodies of water in Louisiana, this bayou is also no stranger to pollution.
I see a ton of just trash out here. I mean, looking around me now, I see trash there. We're pulling garbage out. We see cans, bottles, plastic bags all the time. It's definitely sad to watch.
The team didn't have much luck finding their eels today, but these waters certainly still have their fair share of life. For Wolfpack News, I'm Liam Kidd.
These eels are believed to be native to the continent of Asia, and they could disrupt our bayou environment if they're allowed to spread.
A successful community fridge network runs on electricity and neighborly harmony. PAC News reporter Shadira Moore introduces us to one of many community fridge hosts around the city.
8511 Hickory. Destiny Gorham says she doesn't mind her address being public because she wants visitors to come as they please. Gorham has called New Orleans' Pigeon Town neighborhood home for the past 8 years, and during a lull brought on by the pandemic, what was once a noisy nuisance of an indoor refrigerator became a useful extra unit to share.
When the pandemic hit, there was a big shift in our life. You know, we went from working 60 hours a week, doing various projects, working on concerts and shows and performances all over the city, to being here. When the opportunity presented itself, it was an easy way to provide some tactile help to the neighborhood that we care about.
According to Gorham, community organizers commission local artists of color to paint neighborhood fridges.
It's beautiful. I get to walk out every day and see this fantastic piece of art.
Beth Bayer, one of Gorham's neighbors and a Pigeon Town resident of 25 years, stopped by to stock the fridge for the umpteenth time this week.
It can be completely filled and empty 3 times in a day. It happens a lot. I think this is probably one of the busiest refrigerators in the city.
Neighbors give and take items like produce, packaged food, and cooked meals. Destiny Gorham reminds us that if you have something in your fridge or on your pantry that you find questionable for yourself to eat, you shouldn't bring it for others.
This is not charity. This isn't like you dumping off dirty t-shirts at the Salvation Army, which you should also never do. This is caring for people in your community, and so you care for people in the best way, right? And part of that is taking out a lot of trash.
What did
Shadira
she say?
Moore, PAC News.
Thanks, Shadira. You can check out the New Orleans Community Fridge Project on Instagram at NOLA Community Fridges for more information on where to find free groceries in mills near you.
NFL Sundays will feel different from now on. After 15 years with the Saints, quarterback Drew Brees is retiring. Find out just how much he meant to Saints fans around the city.
And it looks like we have a rainy week ahead of us. See the forecast for thunderstorms that may affect graduation photos.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit.
Shaboom!
Use STEM to envision.
Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah.
Invent.
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at SheCanSTEM.
Thunderstorms are predicted for later on in this week. PAC News reporter Liam Kidd joins us live from the Res Quad with a look at the timing of the storms.
Thanks, Malik. Now, although today was sunny, tonight will be partly cloudy with lows in the 60s. And tomorrow there are chances of thunderstorms with heavy rain and high winds increasing throughout the day. Highs tomorrow are expected to be 72 and lows in the 60s. And Wednesday, temperatures will climb back up to the mid-70s with chances of thunderstorms as well. And moving into Thursday, it looks like that rain won't let up until later that night. So flash flood warnings will be in effect from tomorrow until Thursday. So I hope you guys soaked up the sun today because this week is definitely going to be a wet one. And those planning on taking graduation photos better bring an umbrella. Over to you, Jillian.
Thanks, Liam. Definitely not looking forward to that rain. Coming up in sports.
Loyola's tennis teams have had most of their season canceled or postponed, even though the sport requires little to no physical contact. After the break, I'll tell you how the Loyola tennis teams are feeling about it.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back. I'm Will Ingram. Tennis is a sport that seems like it should have been one of the safest for everyone to play. But for Loyola tennis teams, most of their seasons have been canceled or rescheduled.
Loyola's tennis teams have had a hard time keeping their season going. Coach Llewellyn says,
the lack of consistency that we have with some of the shutdowns or setbacks due to COVID that doesn't allow the players to get into a real rhythm and you know, get the reps that they typically get when we're going into a peak part of our season, and trying to gain that confidence and momentum has been our biggest challenge for sure.
Theo DeBacre, a sophomore on the team, says that the most difficult aspect of the season for him is
really a competitive person, and every time we can't practice or we can't play a match, like I take it like personal, like it affects me a lot. So
Madeline Chavez, a junior on the team, says that having
that energy level kind of goes down and then back up again, it's kind of draining.
And even though it's draining,
Kind of just have the mentality that like things are gonna happen, like expect to play, even if you think there might be a chance that it's gonna get canceled.
The PAC was able to hit the court this past week in the Southern States Athletic Conference Roundup in Mobile, Alabama. The men lost all 4 of their matches during the tournament, and the women split their matches going 2-2. The next time they'll hit the court is Wednesday against UNO. Moving from the outdoor court to the indoor court, the men's basketball team pushed all the way to the quarterfinals to play Lewis and Clark State in the NAIA National Tournament. The PAC forced the number 3 seed to overtime but could not pull off the upset. The last time the PAC made this deep of a run in the tournament was 1946. They end their season with a 15-6 overall record. Another basketball team coming up big is Loyola Chicago's men's team. The Ramblers are headed back to the Sweet 16 for the second time in 4 years. They will look to continue their run for their second Final Four appearance in 4 years Saturday against the 12th seed Oregon State. And continuing on the hard surface, the volleyball team brought home what head coach Jesse Sabal called an all-around team win against Bruton Parker College. The Pack took the match convincingly in straight sets, winning 25-7, 25-12, and 25-6. The team moves to 7-1 in conference play. And the baseball team also had a big moment over the weekend. They not only swept Stillman College, but did not allow one run all weekend. This sweep is the first conference sweep for the team since 2017. The Pack will travel to Hattiesburg, Mississippi this upcoming weekend to play in another conference series against William Carey. And that's all for sports. Back to you, Jill.
Quarterback Drew Brees is retiring after 20 years in the NFL. When Brees came to New Orleans 15 years ago, fans say he brought the black and gold spirit back to the city. I was able to talk with some lifelong Saints fans to hear from them.
After 15 years in the Saints and 20 years in the NFL, our dad is finally going to retire so we can spend more time with us. Yay!
I felt good in the sense that it's been a job well done, and he's done an amazing thing for all Saints fans and all New Orleanians. Pretty much every dream that any kid in New Orleans growing up could have for the Saints, he made it happen.
It's not something I looked forward to. I always kind of dreaded the day when he would retire.
I wasn't like super surprised, but it was still really sad because he's like what I remember like watching Saints games and stuff like my entire life.
I was sad about it just because he's been a part of the city for so long. He was a part of such a huge comeback from Katrina.
First memory that came to mind was when they won the Super Bowl for New Orleans for the first time in 2009. I remember me and my little brother rushing to my grandmother's truck, and we were driving down the street, and everybody came out their house like partying and like throwing firecrackers and all that. Like, it was a great time. But I'll never forget that night.
It brought kind of a spirit back to the team, got the city behind them.
I mean, I think he raised the standard of excellence for the whole city, not just for the Saints, but for the whole city. He made New Orleanians really see that we can be a world-class city.
Number 9 will forever be a New Orleans Saint, but Sundays will look different without him on the field.
I'll miss him terribly, but I'm excited to see what happens next.
He was kind of like, in a weird way, like a savior.
Now I feel like that's going to be really weird, and they're going to have to find like another superstar, honestly.
Because you can't replace a leader like that.
I'm very thankful for Drew and everything he did for New Orleans and the city.
Even if he's not playing on the field, Drew Brees will always be a part of the Who Dat Nation, and replacing him will definitely be a challenge.
It appears there's more light at the end of the tunnel for the Loyola community. Find out how this Crawfish Fest inched campus life closer to normal in the midst of COVID-19.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Last Friday, the University Programming Board kicked off spring with its annual crawfish boil.
PAC News reporter Gracie Wise tells us how they managed to bring back the Loyola tradition responsibly.
The sun might be hibernating, but this didn't stop Loyola from hosting their third Friday. Students can peel some crawfish, listen to live music, and have fun with their friends.
Students lined up in the Peace Quad to feast on platters of crawfish, cool off with ice cream and a refreshing drink, and listen to student bands perform on stage.
Yeah, it's my first time trying crawfish. It's pretty good, actually.
UPB was able to host the event with safety in mind. They ensured that every student had their own bucket and hand sanitizing wipes. Tables were 6 feet apart, and masks were worn at all times.
I'm really enjoying it because it's been over a year since we've had anything like this, and events have been difficult, but we're able to be out here safely during COVID, outdoors and distance, and enjoying our crawfish.
It's been a year since sociology junior Ashanti Wilson attended a crawfish boil on campus.
I'm a junior. I haven't seen crawfish in the quad since my freshman year. I was third Friday coordinator last year, so I didn't get to do it, so I'm really excited to be able to see it today.
In-person events were nearly impossible last semester due to COVID restrictions, but with the rise in vaccinations and the fall in COVID cases, Crawfish in the Quad is one of the many events that will make a comeback in the possible future.
The fact that we actually get to have it this year, the fact that we get to have it today, the fact that we have so many different students out here, we have live music, good food, I think it'll be great for Loyola and then.
I'm Gracie Wise with Pat News.
Ooh, wait, all that talk about crawfish has me hungry.
Yes. I am hungry. Crawfish mac and cheese, my favorite thing in the world.
Sounds good. Well, folks, that's all the news for now.
Thanks for watching and have a great day.